get right along and tell you about what happened after my talk. I gave a speech on Sunday after everyone had given their talks, pretty much. It was one of the last speeches of the weekend. And at the end, Sargon of Akkad, Carl Benjamin, raised his hand to ask a question and hit me with this Hannibal quote, which left me in a complete, what's the expression, in a tizzy. Because I just been, my nervous system had just been devastated by an hour's worth of adrenaline giving a speech in front of these 100 people. And I was just feeling a little bit fried at that point. And then he hits me up with this story about Hannibal that I'd never heard before. And I'm just watching him talk to me. I'm trying to figure out if he's roasting me or if he's complimenting me. And so he tells me this story. A Carthaginian officer named Gisco commented on how much larger the Roman army was than theirs. Hannibal replied, "Another thing that escaped your notice, Gisco, is even more amazing, that although there are so many of them, there is not one among them called Gisco." And I did not know where to put this, because although I know who Hannibal is from a sort of passing familiarity with Roman history, something about Punic wars and elephants and mountains, and I know he's a bit of a character. He has a reputation. A lot of historians sort of have a personal liking for him, kind of a roguish anti-hero type of person, I guess. So I know who Hannibal is. I don't know who Gisco is, and I don't know what battle he's talking about. And Sargon proceeds to like roast my outfit, because I'm wearing this hat. I'm wearing this coat that I thought complemented the hat. So it's like it kind of looks like a lab coat, but it's black, so it looks kind of evil. And I thought it made like a look. And under that, I'm wearing like formal wear. So I've got this like smart dress on, jewelry, tights, high heels. So the whole ensemble is quite odd. And the speech I just gave was very odd indeed. And again, that was being filmed by the Lotus Eaters, so you might be able to watch that at some point. But it was absolutely the least well-prepared speech that was given that weekend, which is just my way of doing things. I don't like working to a script. And I incorporated a lot of ideas based on what the other speakers said. So I gave this kind of mishmash. It started with a prayer. I had this slide deck full of memes because I didn't know what I'd be saying when each slide came up. So I just put on vaguely related memes. So every couple of minutes, there'd be just a sort of eruption of laughter as the next slide appeared, completely disrupting the flow of what I was saying. And I thought it was all quite good. And people said that they liked it, and I thought it was all right. But the thing is that Sargon doesn't know who I am. So he came into this, and all he knows is that, maybe he knows I'm the only female speaker there that day. And then he's sort of steamrolled with this absolutely bizarre speech about Jesus, and where I basically grill the audience. And I think he's just a bit. I think his reaction was just bemusement, really. And there's this quote. When I looked it up later, I kind of understood what he meant about this Gisco thing. He said that in the war against the SJWs, no matter how many pink-haired feminists we might be facing, not one of them is called Poe. And again, I'm kind of thinking, I can't quite figure that out when he's saying it to me. But now that I'm thinking about it, so Sargon is no, that's what he said.
You're Hannibal.
No, he wasn't calling me Hannibal. He called me Gisco. And he said I had an eye patch because my hair was covering my eye, and I guess I looked kind of like an evil general. Anyway, I think my interpretation is that Sargon, being the largest influencer there in terms of his influence, mainstream appeal, most subscribers, most followers on Twitter or whatever the Twitter equivalent he is using these days. he thinks of himself as Hannibal in this fight against the SJWs, right? He's the general. He's in the middle of all this. He's much bigger than the rest of us. He only has a kind of passing familiarity with the cast of characters who come onto Unpopular Opinions, and I'm pretty sure he hasn't watched anything on my channel. And so for him, not knowing what he was getting into, what I'm taking from this little quote that he said for me, I think he, not knowing that such a person as me existed, he finds my existence reassuring, knowing that all this time he's been at the center, in his mind, of this movement, of this feeling, of this anti-SJW sentiment. He sees himself as the center of it, and he didn't even know that all this time he had this soldier fighting alongside him who was as odd and as passionate and as, whatever his impression of me was. It seems that it was vaguely positive, at least. My shoelace was untied. That's what Sargon was grilling me about, because I, in the middle of my speech, did this little Dostoevsky reference. Got to quote a Russian with the hat on, and it involved me sort of shuffling around the stage a little bit. And one of my shoes came untied, sort of somewhere near the middle of my speech, and it was untied for the rest of the speech. And everyone could see, like, I knew that everyone could see it. The podium was kind of this wire frame structure, so there was just really no hiding it. I've realized now what I should have done is just kick the shoe off, or taken both shoes off. It probably would have got a round of applause. And in the middle of the speech, shortly after my shoe came untied, probably, I announced that I was pregnant with our second child, still am, and that was just a little bit surprising because I didn't really know how to work it into what I was saying. So I just found a sort of a time for. I just found a time when I wasn't saying something else and interrupted the. Anyway, this is the odd kind of speech that I gave that Sargon is reacting to.